Hi, today in multilinguals.com we are going to discuss the verbs in Spanish, the conjugation, especially the verbs in the present tense in the indicative mode. In Spanish, that would be los verbos en el presente del modo indicativo. So let's start. To begin with, we have to understand when we use the modo indicativo in the present tenses. So, for us to understand all the uses of the modo indicativo, let's analyze the 7 uses that we have here in this screen. The first one says actions taking place at the moment of speaking. Let's analyze this one. So, for example, pay attention at this sentence. Estoy hablando por teléfono. I'm on the phone. I am speaking on the phone. As we saw in the first one, when we discuss what we are doing right now, activities that are in progress at the moment of speaking, we use the present tense in the modo indicativo. Estoy hablando por teléfono. In this case, you can also notice the ando in hablando. It means the gerund, speaking, is like the ing in English. The second one says facts. How do we use the modo indicativo when we talk about facts? Let's see. In this case, we have the phrase, el sol sale por el este y se pone por el oeste. The sun comes out on the east and sets on the west. El sol sale por el este y se pone por el oeste. This is an example of a fact. We always use the present tense in the modo indicativo for these kind of phrases. The third one is when we talk about descriptions. Let's see an example. In this case, we have a description. For example, esta mesa es de madera. This table is made out of wood. Esta mesa es de madera. This is one of the examples for descriptions in the present tense in the modo indicativo. The fourth one is when we are talking about habits. Let's see an example of this. Now, here the phrase is, Ana duerme 6 horas al día. Anna sleeps 6 hours a day. This is a habit that she has, so we always use the present tense in the modo indicativo form. The fifth one is to talk about a period of time in which I've been doing something. Now, in English, we tend to use the present perfect for this. But let's see an example of how we do this in the modo indicativo. Here the example says, toca el piano desde que tenía 8 años. She's been playing piano since she was 8 years old. Notice that in English, we use the present perfect tense. She's been playing. In Spanish, however, we can use el presente del modo indicativo. Ella toca el piano desde que tenía 8 años. Since I say desde, which means since, I can use this tense right away. Number 6 is for future actions. So instead of using a future tense, we can use the present tense in the modo indicativo. Let's see how. Now here the phrase makes reference to the future. It says, La fiesta es el viernes a las 10 de la noche. Literally, it means the party is Friday at 10 p.m. La fiesta es el viernes a las 10 de la noche. When we use the present tense like that, it can also make reference to the future. Number 7 is to talk about events that happened in the past. This may be weird. Since we are talking about the past, we should use a past tense, right? Yeah, but we can use also the presente en el modo indicativo. Let's see how. Now, this example may sound weird. It says, Colón descubre América en el año 1942. It means Columbus discovers America in the year 1942. It's talking about the past, but the verb is in the present, discovers. In Spanish, that can make reference to the past also. We can use that, making reference to the past, but speaking in the present. So the context here is what tells you what you are saying is in the past. So when talking about verbs in Spanish, we have to remember that they fall into one of the three conjugations. Verbs ended in AR, verbs ended in ER, which is the second conjugation, and the third one, IR. Always try to remember these conjugations because the endings are going to vary according to each one of these. For example, let's analyze some verbs ending in the first conjugation, AR, such as hablar, to speak, hablar, cantar, to sing, cantar, estudiar, to study, estudiar. Now, these are some of the verbs in the second conjugation, ER, comer, to eat, comer, beber, to drink, beber, temer, to fear, temer. And this is the third conjugation, IR, such as sentir, to feel, sentir, subir, to go up, subir, pedir, to ask, pedir. So this is the chart that you always have to remember. It talks about the three conjugations and the endings for each pronoun. So for example, let's take the first one, AR. Verbs ending in AR are always going to have the same conjugation at the end. So for example, with yo is O. So if we take the verb hablar, to speak, you say hablo, hablo, ends with O. You take the stem, which is HABL, and you change the endings. Hablo. For tú, it would be hablas. So the ending is AS. For él, ella, and usted, the ending is only A. So él habla, ella habla, usted habla. So for we, the ending is AMOS. We say nosotros hablamos. For vosotros, vosotras, the ending is A with an accent, IS. So the ending would be vosotros habláis. And the last one for ellos, ellas, ustedes, the ending is AN. So we say ustedes hablan. Ellos, ellas hablan. That is the first conjugation, AR. Let's talk about verbs with the second conjugation, ER. So, for example, learn, which is aprender, aprender. So the first one is the same in all three of them. It ends with an O. So, for example, you say, yo aprendo, yo aprendo. The second conjugation for tú is es. Tú aprendes. Tú aprendes. The third one, which is for él, ella, usted, is y. So we say él aprende, ella aprende, usted aprende. The next one is for nosotros or nosotras, which ends in EMOS. Nosotros aprendemos. Aprendemos. The Spanish one, vosotros, vosotras, the Spanish from Spain, ends in E with an accent IS. Vosotros aprendéis. And the last one, ellos, ellas, ustedes, ends with EN. So we say, ustedes aprenden. That's the second conjugation. The third one is IR, such as in vivir, to live, vivir. So the first one, like in all three of them, is only with an O. Yo vivo. Yo vivo. The second one is with an es. Tú vives. Tú vives. The third one for él, ella, and usted is only with an e. So we say vive. Usted vive, él vive, ella vive. The next one, nosotros, nosotras, is with IMOS. So we say nosotros vivimos. Nosotros vivimos. The Spanish from Spain one, vosotros, ends with is. Vosotros vivís. Vosotros vivís. And the last one for ellos, ellas, ustedes ends with en. And we say ustedes viven. Ellos viven. So that is the conjugation for all three forms. If you learn by heart the endings for this, you are going to be able to conjugate lots of verbs. So for example, let's talk about this one. It belongs to the first conjugation, AR, to take, tomar, tomar. It means to take, and sometimes it can also mean to drink. Yo tomo, yo tomo. And you see the O for the first person. With tú is tú tomas, tú tomas. With él and ella, the ending is with a. Él toma, ella toma. With nosotros, the conjugation is with amos. Nosotros tomamos. Ellos, ellas toman. And the last one is ustedes toman. Now let's take another verb, this time with the second conjugation ended in er, such as correr, to run. So the conjugation would be yo corro, tú corres, y es. Él corre, ella corre. The ending is only in e. Nosotros corremos, nosotros corremos. Did you see the change? Instead of AMOS, as in the first conjugation with AR, in this case is EMOS. Nosotros corremos. Ellos, ellas, corren. The ending is EN. Ustedes corren. Ustedes corren with EN. Now let's take a verb with the third conjugation IR, such as vivir, to live. Yo vivo. Tú vives. Él vive, ella vive. Nosotros vivimos. Ellos, ellas viven. Ustedes viven. So, for example, if you have to make this phrase, Rosario buscar un contacto en el celular. That means buscar means to search, to look for, right? So it says that Rosario is searching a contact in her cell phone. Remember that when we say is searching, in English we use the progressive tense with ing. That does not mean that we are going to do the same thing always in Spanish, right? So in this case, what would be the verb? The verb like buscar ends in er. So in this case, what would be the conjugation like? Buscar is from the first conjugation. So the answer would be Rosario busca un contacto en el celular. And that would imply she searches for a contact in her cell phone. Now this sentence, Sara y Manuel viajar por todo el mundo. Sara and Manuel travel around the world. What would be the conjugation for viajar? Again, another verb with the first conjugation, and we have to bear in mind that Sara and Manuel are they, right? So it's ellos. Sara y Manuel viajan por todo el mundo. Javier, write, escribir una carta. Javier to write a letter. What would be the conjugation for this third conjugation verb? Javier escribe. Javier escribe una carta. And what about this one? Gerardo y Marta comprar un libro. Gerardo and Marta to buy a book. This is a first conjugation verb. Gerardo y Marta compran un libro. Tú y yo navegar por el mar Caribe. Tú y yo navegar por el mar Caribe. You and me to sail on the Caribbean Sea. To sail is also a first conjugation verb. Tú y yo navegamos por el mar Caribe. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you enjoy this and I hope that you learn your verbs with the AR, ER, and IR conjugations. See you in the next video.